Hi, my name is Zach Whitford, and I'm going to be explaining breadth-first and depth-first graph searching algorithms for my Eecs281 IA application. So breadth-first and depth-first search are two different graph searching algorithms that we use when we want to find a given path from one node to another node in a graph. So in our example, we're going to be trying to find a path between 1 and 7. Now, breadth-first and depth-first search take two different avenues for approaching trying to find a path between 1 and 7. Breadth-first search searches in a level-based ordering. So it searches for everything on this level for 7, then this level, then this level, then this level, while depending on the way you add your nodes to your given data structure, depth-first search looks further deeper before it looks across a given graph. So in these examples, breadth-first search uses a queue, which is a last in, first out data structure, and depth-first search uses a FIFO data structure of a stack. Now with breadth-first search, I'm going to give an example of how we're going to look for a path from 1 to 7, and I'm going to do the same for depth-first search. Now for breadth-first search, what we do is we would add a given node to our data structure, and each node which we add to our data structure is also going to be modifying some form of remembering data structure. And that remembering data structure could be a vector, it could be any given things. But basically what it does is, given a node, we want to know the previous node to it. And what this will enable us to do is, when we add 7 to our data structure and we check for it, we'll be able to find our way backwards from 7 to 1. So for breadth-first search, the way it'll look is we look at a given node, and to begin with, we add our start node to the data structure. And what then we do is we look at its children. We check if its children is equal to 7, which in this case it's not. And then we add them into our data structure into the queue. Now the way the queue works is it's last in, first out. So if we were to do left to right, we would add 2 and then 3. Then we would get rid of 1 from our data structure, because that's the way that this searching algorithm would work. And then what we do is we look at 2. Now we look at 2's children, in this example would be 4, and we say is 4 equal to 7, our destination node. No, it's not, so we add 4 in, and then we remove 2. And we continue with this process down. So just to speed this process up, we look at 3, so then we would add 5 and 6. We would get rid of 3. Then we look at 4, it has nothing, so we would just get rid of that. Then we look at 5. Now 5 has 7 as one of its children. So then what we are able to do is look at 5 and say, okay, so now we look from 7. What was 5's previous node? It was 3, which is 1, which gives us the path 1, 3, 5, and then 7. So that's the path from 1 to 7. Now depth-first search takes a different approach. We would add 1 to our data structure, then we would add 2 and 3. Now the difference between the two, and we would get rid of 1 as we did in the other one, the difference between depth-first and breadth-first is depth-first uses a stack. So instead of looking at 2, which was the first element inserted, we look at the last element inserted. So that would be 3. So then we would do 3, we look through, and 3's children are 5 and 6, neither of which is equal to 7. So then what we do is then we get rid of 3. So now if we were to read in order, it would go 6, 5, and then 2 if we were to pop elements off the stack. So then what we do is we look at 6. It has no children, so we don't add anything to it, so we get rid of it from our stack. Then we look at 5. 5's children are 7 and 8. So then we say, oh, we have 7. So we use the same data structures we did here to traverse backwards. 7, 5, 3, and then 1. So that gives us a path from 1 to 7. Well, in this example, it's not abundantly clear, but when it's more complex graph structures, for instance, if we didn't use a tree data structure and allowed a node to have 2 different parents, depth-first search will often has the potential, I should say, of finding a path quicker as it traverses deeper in the graph, whereas breadth-first search has to exhaust all possibilities on rows from a given node to another node in order to find it. However, breadth-first search always, because it does that level order traversal, always guarantees us the shortest path from our start node to our end node. This has been my introduction, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.